What is going on, guys? Hopefully you guys are having a good day. Let us get into the market before discussing the topic that I wanted to bring up, which was Ethereum and why Ethereum continues to lose steam. What is it about the market perception of Ethereum that is causing it to lose value over the last few months? So the market cap is currently at 334 billion. It's about 3 to 4% down since yesterday. Bitcoin dominance continues at a strong 44%, meaning that the altcoins in general are losing steam in comparison to Bitcoin. If you saw a video of mine that I did a while back, I was talking about how over 800 new altcoins were formed in 2017, most of them coming after the first half of 2017, with not a lot of new money coming in besides that little rally that we had, or the big rally that we had towards the end of 2017. So the money in crypto is currently stretched thin and Bitcoin dominance continues to rise. Now, Bitcoin is currently at around 8,700. Ethereum is at 537. And this is the highlight for today. This is the guy that we want to talk about today. Now, why is Ethereum losing steam? So towards the beginning of 2018, when we had those various dips after the parabolic run, we saw Ethereum actually stubbornly holding its ground and even losing less value than Bitcoin has, towards the January dips, or right around the January dips. Bitcoin was losing value at a faster rate than Ethereum. And if you remember, we were even talking about the flippening happening, which is was the expected event at which Ethereum will overtake Bitcoin as the number one spot with regards to market cap. If you look at the market cap now, that theory seems laughable, right? Like Ethereum is almost a third of Bitcoin's market cap. So it seems so far in the distance and so out of the realm in reality that it appears to be a joke at the current time. Well, I found this data here on Sandbase, and I'll link to this in the description, but this is really important. And what this outlines is it lists all of the projects that have raised funds, right, through ICOs or crowdfunding events that have raised funds using Ethereum. Now, for those of you that are familiar with blockchain and are in tune with blockchain news, you'll know that Ethereum is currently the number one platform that blockchain projects use to raise funds. Now, why is that? Well, one, it is really easy, relatively, if you're a coder, it's really easy to create an ERC20 token. It's very easy if you're a blockchain project and you want to start an ICO or a crowdfund to create a generic ERC20 token that coincides with your project, so that you can give that as a reward for a token sale to those who invest in your project. So creating an ERC20 token is really easy. There's even instructions on the Ethereum site, as you can see here, that goes into what it takes in order to create a token and how to set that up from a coding standpoint. And two, Ethereum is the king of smart contracts platforms as it currently stands, meaning that token sales can be handled through smart contracts on Ethereum. So not only can you create your token based on Ethereum, on the Ethereum ERC20 standard, but you can manage your crowdfunding campaign through Ethereum by creating a smart contract. So, say that you promise to give somebody a certain amount of your token in exchange for a certain amount of Ethereum. That can be facilitated as a transaction in Ethereum, or on Ethereum. So that is why it continues to be a really convenient and practical way to crowdfund your blockchain project. So this right here, this right here outlines all of the blockchain projects that have used Ethereum for crowdfunding. Now, the reason this is significant is because it shows you the balance of Ethereum that they currently have collected through crowdfunding, and some of these balances are just outrageous. So you'll see EOS, for instance, which is the biggest player at the moment, in terms of Ethereum holdings, has $270 million in Ethereum. DGD has $251 million in Ethereum. PBT has $6 million in Ethereum. You'll see Status has $144 million in Ethereum. That's just crazy. And a lot of these projects, you will recognize the names because we trade a lot of these. Now, this seems like an unintended consequence of the way that Ethereum is set up, right? They obviously wanted to make it easy for people to create ERC20 tokens. They wanted to make it easy to facilitate smart contracts and crowdfunding, etc. And they've said in the past, Vitalik and a bunch of other high-level people involved in Ethereum have said in the past they don't care about the market cap, they don't care about the price, they don't care about the flippening. That is not part of their objectives. This is potentially a chaotic situation where you have large amounts of Ethereum that were acquired through token sales held by these blockchain projects, especially ones like EOS that are seen as a direct Ethereum competitor. So EOS can essentially dump. Just logically thinking about this, EOS can dump their Ethereum on the market. Not only will that essentially tank the Ethereum price, but they can also buy their own token on the market, which will increase their value. So you can actually exchange your Ethereum for EOS. And if you're a direct competitor of Ethereum, might be able to jerry-rig the scenario in your favor, at least for the time being. So there are a few people on Twitter that are involved in blockchain. Whale Panda is one of them. This guy named Wilhelm, or his username is ClaptrapXL, that have tracked large amounts of Ethereum movements. You'll see here he's talking, this is just a couple days ago on March 18th, he's talking about a trail of 417,000 Ethereum that have moved from an EOS crowd sale wallet into Bitfinex. Right. And so if it's on Bitfinex, you can assume that, they'll be dumping Ethereum on Bitfinex or whatever exchange they move it onto in large quantities when they feel like it, or when they feel like that they need to influence the pricing at some point in their favor. So that is one of the reasons why I think the market perception that Ethereum is declining in value is because there is so much Ethereum that are held by other blockchain projects, and it can essentially be dumped at any point. The second major reason, in my opinion, that I think Ethereum is losing market value as well as declining in market perception is because of the increased difficulty and increased hash rate, right? So you'll see that the difficulty in mining Ethereum and the hash rate have been increasing steadily since November. I apologize if these lines are too thin for you to read. I'll leave this in the description, but the gist of it is that you'll see the hash rate and difficulty have been increasing steadily since November, while the reward, right, for the block reward has actually decreased, according to this article on Brave New Coin, has decreased from 5 ETH to 3 ETH, right? So the difficulty is increasing and the reward is decreasing. So that is obviously going to decrease the interest of people mining, because the profitability is just taking a nosedive, right? It's down over 70% from peaks established in both June 2017 and January 2018. And lastly, we'll take a look at the technicals. Obviously, as we said before, the technicals cannot tell you the whole story. So the issue with the blockchain projects holding large amounts of ETH, or the increase in difficulty or hash, can't be explained by these charts. That's why it's so important to take fundamental and technical analysis in conjunction with one another. Now, there are a few indicators here telling me that the price of Ethereum is actually underpriced. Obviously, that is in comparison to previous pricing. The MACD you'll see is looks like it's about to converge. This Ethereum has not been oversold since September 2017, and the time that it has spent here is very short in comparison to this. It looks like we've been undersold for almost a week now. It continues to trade below the 200-day and the 100-day EMA, obviously. This magenta line right here, it looks like this is the major support level right now at around $530. We haven't seen this pricing since December of last year, before this parabolic run-up. As you can see, the volume is just stagnant, right? It looks like it's shot to death. We had a few major sell bars, including this long red one here, and that could be a consequence of what we discussed earlier. If you look at a number of indicators that measure the mean in some ways, so if you look at the linear regression, Obviously, we're currently below that, on the lower end of the linear regression line, below the mean right here in the middle. If you look at something like the Ichimoku cloud, we are currently well below the mean. If you look at something like the Bollinger Band, we are also currently well below the mean, and this is on the one-day chart. So there are a few indicators that are telling us right now that Ethereum is undervalued. I do think Ethereum in the long run will be fine. Will the flippening ever happen? I don't know. It doesn't seem like it at this point. But you never know, because at the end of last year, towards the end of last year, we were marveling at how Ethereum was holding strong. Even towards the beginning of this year, through the dips, Ethereum looked like it was handling those dips way better than Bitcoin was. So these things can change in an instant. It feels like a long time, and when you do take a look at something like the market cap, and you see that Ethereum's at 50 billion and Bitcoin's at 150 billion, it seems ridiculous to think that this will ever overtake this. But again, these things change in an instant. It changes faster than we think. But we currently are monitoring the markets every single day, so it's hard to get a grasp of long-term thinking, right? Or long-term projection. All right, guys, that is it for the video. I hope that I provided you with some insight as to why Ethereum might be losing steam right now, apart from what the technicals are showing. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, leave a comment if you like, sign up to the Patreon for the trade alerts and the weekly pick, join the Discord. It's 100% free. Stay safe out there. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.